Jitterbugs, it's Jitz. And if you or a loved one have struggled with a mental illness or something like that, then you're probably familiar with the concept of mental institutions, or as many people like to say, psych wards. Now, I recently just got out of a psych ward, so I know about all the ins and ups and downs. It's one of those things where you go in once and you come out an expert on how they work. And I will be sharing my personal stories of the people that I've met and what it was like there. So let's get into it. Number 1, Nikki, the girl who thought it was 2021. Now, I spent my 2020 and my 2021 New Year in a mental institution. So we got cupcakes, we got a lot of fun stuff. Not really, it's a mental institution, but they tried their best. There was this one girl there. Her name was Nikki, and she was fine when she came in until they started giving her her medication, which kind of made her go off the rails a little bit. Nikki did not like being in a mental hospital, which, to be fair, I don't think any of us did, but she took things to a different level. She would come into the room and she would scream, "It's 2021, we have a voice, we need to start speaking out, they're keeping us in here." But it wasn't 2021 yet, so we'd have to be like, Nikki, it's not 2021 yet, what are you doing with your life, sis? And she would get violent. One of the most notorious events that have happened with her was she came in, she was screaming, she was throwing chairs, and one of our nurses came and they got her, and they tried to give her this shot that sedates the patient. And they brought her into this room, and Nikki grabbed the needle and stabbed one of our hospital workers, one of the nurses. And the nurse, that very same day, quit her job because she said, "This is the last straw for me. I can't do this anymore. I can't deal with fighting patients that are just little girls." And she ended up going home the next day because I don't think that the mental hospital felt safe having a very, very violent patient there amongst other kids who were not violent at all. And I hope she's doing all right, and it's 2021 now, so I guess that's going good for her. Number 2, Adeline. Adeline was a very special case. She had been there longer than anybody there, so when I got there, she was already there. So she was kind of like the standoffish one. I don't want to say weird because we're all a little bit weird, but she was definitely a special case that always argued, would never take her medicine. They had to fight her to get her to take anything. She was this short, kind of chubby little girl, and it was just really sad to see someone like that. When you're in a mental hospital, you think that you're going to see all of these insane patients and these people rocking back and forth, screaming at the top of their lungs, but it's not always the case. Most of the people there were very chill, but no one wanted to be around Adeline, because Adeline would write their names. If they made her mad, she would write their names in this little notebook and plot out how she was going to kill them that day. So no one roomed with her. No one wanted to be around her. She was just a very special case. One day, she goes to her room, but there's already a man in there. So we're all thinking, "Oh man, we feel bad for Adeline." Me and my roommate said, "Well, she can stay with us for one night just until she gets her room back." So she stays with us, and she goes to take a shower. And me and my roommate, we took showers in the morning, but we were used to people taking showers at night because we had another roommate prior. So she gets out of the shower, and we're expecting that she's going to be at least wrapped in a towel. That girl is completely naked, walking out of the shower, and you saw everything. I didn't want it. I didn't want to see that. I went in there for my mental health issues, but being in there gave me more. What? So we were like, "Adeline, maybe can you go back into the shower and, clothe up?" And she goes, "It's fine, we're all girls here." And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't want to see your cooch." So we ended up, we just ignored it. She changed in the corner of the room, and me and my roommate just looked away, but it's still something that's very weird. And that night, I was praying, because I pray to myself, and she starts, "Satan is here, Satan is here." And I was like, "Honey, what? What? Satan is here? Oh no, baby. Satan's my dad. You can't, no." And she was like, "Satan's gonna kill all of you." And I was like, "What?" And she stands up and she goes into the corner of the room and she holds out her hand and she just It was like she was holding out her hand like this, and she just grabs onto it and starts screaming at the corner. They had to take her out of our room the next morning. We could not deal with it. We could not. That was, no. Number 3, God's favorite. Now that might sound like a band that would play some heavy metal music. Maybe they could be a Christian rock group and they could travel across the world. But no, this was a legal name. Their parents chose to name their child God's favorite. And that's pretty biased, because I feel like, despite your beliefs, if there is God, maybe we're all his favorites, or he all hates us. So I feel like naming your child God's favorite is like a little bit weird. But that wasn't the only thing weird about him. He would mutter to himself, and he would stand up, and he would walk slowly, stare all of us in the eyes, and then sit down on the floor. And we were all like, okay, that's weird, but we're all in a mental asylum institution, so, you got to get used to the weird. Then, one day, I was going back to my room that night, and I walk, and I see God's favorite, and he is completely naked. That boy is stripped. I saw everything. I was like, ew, ew. So, after seeing this naked boy, he was older than me too, I think. But after seeing him, I was like, this was my first night. I was like, do I have to stay? I don't wanna. So, we go back to our rooms, and we come out later because I need a blanket. It's my first night there. They didn't set me up with anything, which is weird. But I go out, and he's still naked, and none of the doctors are stopping him. The doctor's just like, yeah, that's God's favorite. He does that. And then his nose just starts bleeding everywhere, all over him. And I was like, help that boy! That boy needs therapy! What happened? And then he stood up and he went back to his room, but that was still a weird experience, and his real name was God's favorite, and I'll never forget him. Now, final and last one is Zia. There's nothing spectacular about him, nothing too weird, but he was the youngest out of all of us, and it was sad to see this young kid come in for something, and we all assumed it was like depression, thoughts of harming himself or others. We thought it was like the normal mental illness that you hear about all the time. No, this boy came in there for having homicidal tendencies and thoughts. And I was like, huh? They did not separate him from us. We all sat in the same little room, and this boy would sit in the corner. And you look at him, and at first glance, you're thinking, no way that this boy is... No, he's very happy. He's very giddy. He did walk around the room a lot, but we just thought it was him pacing. But he would walk over to us and talk to us in our ear. I know how I'm going to kill you. I know exactly how I'm going to do it. And he would try and tell each of us how he was going to do it. So we were like, huh? And we were used to Adeline telling us how she was going to kill her. So we didn't think anything of it until one night when he was like, he came out into the hallway. And I was getting another blanket because the mental hospital is cold. So I got another blanket. And he's standing at the end of the hallway just staring at me, and he just goes, I'm going to kill you. And I said, oh, no, baby. Oh, no. See, I already tried to do that. That's why I'm in here. You can't be doing that. Also, something weird about this boy, he farted constantly, and we all ate the same thing. He said he would fart, and then he'd go, excuse me, and then he'd fart again like 30 minutes later, excuse me, then it would keep going, and every time he did it, everyone would just go, what? It was just crazy. It didn't smell. It was just kind of weird. And then one time, someone said something, because he was wearing a mask. We all wear masks in there. They said, honey, you need to put a mask on your butt. And he puts the mask over like a pair of underwear, and he's just standing there. And we're all like, someone needs to come get their toddler, ma'am. Miss girl? No? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video, And I hope that maybe it made you laugh a little bit, but I hope that it doesn't make you scared of mental institutions. Because if you need help and you need someone to talk to and you're thinking about stuff like that, then you do need to go and you do need to get some help. And the whole stigma around it, that everyone's insane in there, is completely false. Most people that I met in there were really nice people. They were trying to get help, and I hope that if you do need help, you will seek it out and you will become better. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments, and subscribe if you want for more content like this. Bye!